Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Becky. I am a third culture kid and psychologist, and I make YouTube videos about my life and pretty much anything that interests me. I am currently exploring the career of a content creator for the rest of this year, and I'm super excited today to be filming from outside on such a beautiful day to share a little story, to talk about why I decided to buy a watch today. I know, it sounds like we're going to talk about fashion, but we're not. It's much deeper than that. So, where do we start? Okay, so I'm really excited to talk about this because I feel like yesterday was a moment of reckoning for me. I have been attending an online course, trying to understand how to harness my productivity as a content creator, because one of the things I've realized as part of this pursuit is that it's really easy to get distracted by many ideas and the desire to sort of go down rabbit holes, all in the name of being as creative as possible, and that I'm actually just lacking a little bit of focus and discipline at the moment. And in many ways, I just kind of assume that this is what it's like to be a creative person and that I just need to find a way to make it work, so this course might help. However, there's a catch. This course is actually a productivity course for people with ADHD. Now, I haven't been formally or clinically diagnosed with ADHD, but a couple of weeks ago I was catching up with a good friend, fellow YouTuber, and she had recently received a diagnosis and asked me, is it possible you might have it, or have you ever wondered if you have it? It got me thinking. Initially, no. I feel like my brother has it, and I think it's easy to miss because there are many common misconceptions about what somebody with ADHD looks like very scatterbrainy or distracted, but I don't particularly feel as if I had struggled in any significant way. I'd done well at school, I held down a job, my life was reasonably organized. I just couldn't see a strong enough reason to believe that I might have it. And so, one day I was on Twitter and I noticed a fellow coursemate of mine decided to launch an online course on ADHD productivity. And I'd been on a course about how to use Roam productivity software before with him, and thought, well, I know this guy, so it's going to be good. We clearly have similar interests, and he is doubling down on the ADHD thing. So I thought, yeah, let's do it. I'd rather do an online course giving productivity advice for people with ADHD and take a thing or two away than go down the medical route and see a GP and get prescribed drugs like Ritalin. And so, $175, totally worth the money, every Wednesday and Friday night for a couple of weeks. And I attended the course. First few sessions was interesting. I concluded after about 4 sessions, I probably don't have ADHD. And the reason why is because I couldn't relate strongly to any of the so-called symptoms of ADHD. Things like rejection, sensitivity, dysphoria, all the various different symptoms of hyperactive ADHD as well as inattentive ADHD. Those are the 2 types. Apparently, you need to have 5 on the list to receive a formal clinical diagnosis. I could only really relate mildly to 2 within the inattentive ADHD list. And so I figured, if I have it, it's probably mild, but it's probably not really a problem. And I still stand to gain something from this course, but I'm not relating massively right now. Now, it just so happens to be that I had a friend who was wondering the same, and I showed that list to them, and they related a lot to the list of hyperactive ADHD behaviors. And so I was able to sort of witness somebody else coming to that realization for themselves, where they could relate strongly to that list. So I was kind of benchmarking myself in many ways. However, last night's course completely changed that for me. I am now convinced that I do have ADHD. Jesse invited a guest speaker called Trina, who runs a a community, I guess, called My Lady ADHD to talk. And she spoke about a concept called time blindness and how people with ADHD have this issue. We were asked to do a very quick quiz and score ourselves on the call. There are about 30 of us on the call. And pretty much everyone scored above 60, which is classified as severe time blindness. I got 70. And it was in that moment I was like, oh my God, this isn't just life. I actually experienced this thing, and so does everyone else. No way. Like, the sense of relief I experienced, hope, optimism, excitement, I was suddenly like, I am surrounded by people who get how it feels to be like this, to struggle with time in this way. Oh my God, I definitely must have ADHD. And here's the thing, so many people with ADHD are actually self-diagnosed because it's either difficult to get a clinical diagnosis or the doctors miss it completely, especially with women. Because most women have inattentive ADHD and it's not obvious. They don't look hyperactive, which is the classical sign. And also, a ton of people breeze through school with straight A's with ADHD. They just learn how to struggle enormously to get there. And that was a game changer for me. And I immediately messaged Jessie and Trina to say thank you so much for this, because I feel like this is a turning point in my life. I'm really excited to know that I can try and find a way to get on top of the thing that I always feel like has been controlling me. So here's to a crazy adventure ahead. Now, the reason why I bought a watch is because apparently they said that a lot of people with ADHD are like analog clocks, and they have a lot of them around the house as well. And that really, really struck me because I remembered suddenly how much I loved my watches in high school and university, back when smartphones weren't around to show you the time. You know, I had an attachment to it. I was always wearing it, and it helped me stay on track. I always knew the time. And then suddenly, with the onset of smartphones, it just no longer felt kind of necessary to always know the time. I didn't realize the value of always knowing the time or being able to glance quickly and check. And I'm surprised that it didn't occur to me sooner in many ways. But even just having this watch on my hand right now, and it's just a cheap watch, it's less than £100, makes me feel suddenly a little bit more in control of my life, just a little bit more aware of how to bring out the best of myself from an organizational perspective. Basically, it's saying time is important and you get distracted by time. So here, this is the way to stay in check. So I'm just really looking forward to seeing how I handle this. And I'm honestly so positive about being able to forge a career as a content creator and stay focused and less distracted while still being creative, just knowing that I basically have ADHD to some extent. A lot of people are self-diagnosed, and that is enough. If Trina said if you relate to the content, the chances are you probably do have it. I haven't watched a lot of the content, but I definitely relate strongly now to the content from the course last night. So, bet you didn't see that one coming, eh? I even feel excited making this video. There's something empowering about knowing yourself more. It makes life a little bit less unbearable. So, cheers. Thanks for listening to my story. If you are interested in any of the content from the course, sure, Jesse will be running another course soon, and I'll drop a link to his course landing page in the description below. Of course, I'm happy to have a chat with you as well if we know each other, to talk about it in private. I completely respect that there are many people who would prefer to keep that information about their diagnosis or self-diagnosis confidential. Right to privacy is super important when it comes to medical diagnosis. And so definitely, some people find it helpful acknowledging it with others and others will not. But I'm here for you if you need. And most of the people watching this channel right now are my friends. So thanks for listening to my story. I hope that it helps somebody. It certainly feels like it's going to be helping me a lot. All right, that's all I've got for now. I am going to enjoy the rest of the day, maybe grab a beer and then drive home. All right, take care. Over now.